Welcome back to another video. I'm super excited for today's video because, as you guys know, we're in the month of June, which means it is Pride Month, okay? It's time for all the colorful, rainbow, super fun makeup looks. You guys know I play with color all year round. Color is just my thing. But you guys already know I had to bring you guys a few Pride inspired looks. So this is going to be look number 1. What do you guys think? I think it's so pretty. I tried to use as many colors as possible. And I also wanted to show some love to a brand that I absolutely adore. So for today's eyeshadow look, the only brand that I used for today was the brand GLAMLITE. If you guys are not familiar with GLAMLITE, you are missing out. They have one of the best formulas on the market. They're super sweet and the CEO is just phenomenal. It is a female owned brand. She's so hardworking and I highly recommend that you guys check them out. So for today's look, I did use the GLAMLITE Paint Pro palette. You guys, this palette is a staple in my collection. It is so beautiful. I mean, look at the shades in here. They're gorgeous. I do have a discount code with GLAMLITE if you guys are interested. It will save you some money at the checkout. You guys, I'm telling you, you're going to buy one eyeshadow palette and fall in love. I also did use a little bit of the GLAMLITE Ice Cream Dream palette. This has to be my favorite palette they've ever launched. It's so beautiful. I do have other videos using this palette. I'll go ahead and link them down below in case you guys are interested. But this is what the Ice Cream Dream palette looks like. You guys, it's literally a pastel dream. It's so beautiful. So I'm really excited for today's video. I also did test out some new makeup in today's video, so we're gonna go ahead and jump right into it. Before we jump in, don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel in case you guys have not already. And of course, without further ado, if you guys would like to see my first Pride look of the year, then just keep on watching. Alright, so let's jump into this Pride look. So of course I'm going to be using my P.LOUISE base in the shade of Rumor number 2. Love this base. I feel like I just need to edit this part out at this point because you guys know I'm always using this base. But in case you're new here, P.LOUISE base is where it's at. So I'm going to go ahead and buff that in with the buffing brush. Make sure it's nice and evenly distributed. And now jumping into the GLAMLITE Paint Pro palette. You guys, this palette is so beautiful. Just as vibrant as it looks on camera, it is in person. So the first shade I'm going to be using is the shade called Dark Violet. It's so pretty. It's the perfect deep purple, you guys. It's gorgeous. And what I'm going to do is pack this into the socket of my eye as always, but I'm only taking it halfway into the crease. You want to leave the other half bare because with today's look, we are going to be doing like a two-toned crease kind of look. So I'm packing it on to get it as pigmented as possible. It is going to take time. You want to build it. Do not rush. And then jumping into the next shade, I'm going to be using the shade Indigo, which is a super pretty deep blue. And I'm going to pack this shade where we didn't apply the purple. So on that second half of the crease, that's where I'm going to put this color. Once I'm pretty happy with the intensity, what I did was I just went ahead and rubbed this brush off on a paper towel, and then I'm just rubbing the edges of these shades because it is pretty harsh and I want it to be a little bit blended so that way when I go in with the next shade, it kind of blends seamlessly and it's not super hard to get the colors kind of intertwined within each other. So that's what I'm doing here. So moving on to the next shade, this is the shade that I'm going to be using to blend out that purple. This is the shade Magenta. Okay, Magenta does not come to play. She's super vibrant, very bright. It is so pretty. So I started off with a smaller brush just to be more precise. You guys, you want to work very small. I do have a lot of lid space to work with, so I like to work a little bit smaller. And then as you guys can see, I went in with a bigger, fluffier brush just to diffuse it as much as possible once it gets up towards my brow. So that's what I'm doing here, just blending as much as possible and really blowing it out. You guys know I'm always telling you, do not be afraid to take your shadow into your brows. eyeshadows. It's so pretty, and once you cut your crease, if you don't take your eyeshadow high enough, you're not going to be able to see all the colors you used. So going into the GLAMLITE Ice Cream Dream palette, I needed a lighter pink to blend out that darker pink. So I'm going into the shade Mochi. This is one of my favorite shades in this palette. It is the perfect pastel pink. It's beautiful. So I took it on that same fluffy brush and just diffused that darker pink as much as possible, so that way we can have that really nice blend. So moving into blending out the blue shades, I'm going to go into this shade right here. It's the perfect shade. It's right in between a dark blue and in between the lighter blue that we're going to be using. And of course, using the same method, I'm first going in with a more small blending brush, just so that way I'm actually putting it exactly where I want it, being a little bit more precise. And then I did go ahead and just switch over to the fluffier brush, and then I went into the shade Turquoise in the same palette and just started to diffuse the blues as much as possible. So keep in mind when doing this, all the colors are going to get lost, because you guys know I like to start from darkest to lightest. So you do have to go back in a few times, just re-intensify everything, see where you need more colors, see where you feel like you're kind of missing a shade or kind of faded, so that way you can just make sure that everything is clear and you can see every single shade that you used on your eye. So now to add some depth, I'm going to be going into the original GLAMLITE paint palette. Mine is destroyed. The blue eyeshadow is broken, so it's literally everywhere, but I needed a black eyeshadow, so that one has a black eyeshadow. The Paint Pro does not have a black, so I'm just putting it out there. Both palettes are amazing. There is also a size difference though. The Paint Palette Pro is pretty small. The original one is pretty big, but they're both worth it. So anyways, I'm just taking that black just to intensify the crease and make sure it's nice and smoky. And now it's time to go ahead and cut the crease. So I went in with my usual micellar water with the Q-tip, just cleaned up that area so that way none of the eyeshadow blends in with the base that I'm going to be using. And just to kind of carve out the shape, it makes my life so much easier. So now I'm going to go in with some blank canvas from P.LOUISE and just cut my crease like I usually do. By the way, all the brushes that I'm using, I'm also going to leave them down below. I know you guys always have questions about what brushes I'm using in the video, so I am going to start to put a little section of the brushes that I'm using, so that way you guys can check them out. So now that my base is on, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I buff that out, because it is a thicker base and I don't want it to dry down in an awkward shape. So let's work on the outer corner. So I'm going to go in with the shade Indigo mixed with a little bit of the black eyeshadow first, so that way the outer corner and the crease kind of blend together. Then I went back in with the blue eyeshadow that I used, the middle shade, and I just blended that right in front of that darker black and blue mixture that I did. And then now I'm going to go into the green, of course. This right here is the shade Lime. Super beautiful. You guys, when I tell you this palette has every shade that you need, I'm not even kidding. So I went in with the shade Lime. As you guys can see, I'm just roughly putting down the eyeshadows. You don't have to be super precise right now, and you will see why. So now I'm going to go in with the shade Yellow Ochre, and I'm going to apply this right in front of that green, of course. And then we're going to jump into the orange. For the orange, that shade is called Tangerine. Super beautiful orange. I'm obsessed with it. It was so pretty. And keep in mind, I'm dipping into these shades a few times just to make sure that they're nice and pigmented. So that's the orange shade. And then I did go in with a little bit of the red eyeshadow, and that one is called Crimson Red. So super pretty. I love the effect. I didn't even know if this was gonna all come together, but it really did. So like I told you guys before, I was laying down the colors, but now I took a very small flat shadow brush and just went back in with every single shade just to make sure I got it really close and up to the crease, because I don't want to ruin my crease work, because I'm trying to use a blending brush to actually go in with all the shadows. By the way, sorry for the noise. That was someone driving by. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and take a liquid liner and line my lash line to go ahead and prep for some falsies. This is from the brand Cara Beauty. I do also have a discount code with them if you guys are interested. This eyeliner is amazing and I use it quite often. It comes in black and brown. And then for lashes, I'm going to be using the OMG lashes in the style Glam On. I'm obsessed with these. I did also use these lashes for my last look. So lashes are on. They're so pretty. So let's move on to complexion. I'm going to be using the NYX Marshmallow Primer. I love this primer. I haven't used it in a hot minute, so I decided to use it for today's video. And then for foundation, I'm actually using a CC cream. This is the new Dermablend CC cream. It has an SPF of 50. As you guys know, Dermablend has really nice coverage. I thought the shade was going to be a little bit too light. I believe I got Light 2N, but as always, everything is going to be down below. I was so pleasantly surprised, okay? This was nothing like the It Cosmetics CC cream. I'm not a fan of that product, and I know that it's like a cult favorite, but this is on another level. It's not greasy, it's not oily, it feels like it's set on its own. It was so nice. The coverage was amazing, and even the color was spot on. It was so nice. I love this so much. I highly recommend that you guys check it out if you're looking for a good CC cream, especially right now for the warmer months. It's beautiful, and it's got your SPF 50, so it's definitely a win for you. So going into cream bronzer, I'm going to be using the Patrick Ta cream bronzer and powder duo, and I'm going to go ahead and just cream bronze my face really quickly. This is nice. I've been using it just to see how I like it because they're pretty expensive. It actually doesn't blow my mind. It's not like the most amazing cream bronzer I've ever tried, but it is nice and the color is pretty. So that's what I use to go ahead and just cream bronze my face. For concealer, I decided to go in with the Tarte Shape Tape. The only thing is I didn't realize that I grabbed the shade Light Medium. I usually use Light Neutral, which I also have in my collection, but I wasn't paying attention. So I had to mix it with a little bit of the Pat McGrath. I believe it's called the Sublime Perfection Concealer. Really nice concealer, but very expensive. So while the concealer is sitting a little bit, I'm going to be trying out the new Urban Decay All Nighter Loose Setting Powder. Super cute packaging, definitely Urban Decay vibes. It does have a little sifter in there. Not a big fan of those little nets inside the powder, but it wasn't bad. It actually helped so that way I didn't use too much powder. So now that the concealer has been sitting, because I wanted to get as much coverage as possible, I did go in with my sponge. This is a, what is the brand? Colored Rain. Yes, this is a Colored Rain sponge. They're super soft and they blend really, really well. So this is what I use to go ahead and blend out my concealer. And then I quickly just wanted to go in with this blush stick from ColourPop. These are really nice. They're also very pigmented. They blend really well, and they're so affordable. So I wanted to do all my cream products before I jumped in to any powders, so I just went ahead and packed that on my cheeks, and now we can move back into the Urban Decay powder. So this powder was nice. It's not my favorite, but also it's a little bit my fault. I have to try it again because, like I said, I used the wrong shade in concealer for today's look. It was pretty, very smoothing. It didn't disrupt my concealer, so I have to give it another shot, but so far so good. And I actually did like the sifter because it allowed me to not pick up too much product, so that was a little bit of an A+ in my book. I just went ahead and set the rest of my face with the Sephora Micro Smooth Powder in the shade Medium. My usual powder. It's amazing. And then for bronzer, I wanted to dip into this super expensive Anastasia Off to Costa Rica face palette. This thing is $58. Okay, $58. Not even the packaging screams $58. I cannot. So I went in with the bronzer, not feeling the bronzer, you guys. I don't like the undertone. I prefer a warm bronzer that's not too warm, but I don't want it too cool. I'm super complicated and annoying when it comes to bronzer, but this was not for me. I don't know. It could have been that I used the CC cream. I didn't use my usual foundation. I have to give it another shot, but so far the bronzer, not my favorite. Now the blush was beautiful. It blended so well. I'm obsessed with the blush, kind of hate the bronzer, and the highlight is too dark. So that's that. So moving on to highlight, I wanted to use this new highlighter from Ofra. This is in the shade Milk and Cookies. So as you can see, it's a duo highlighter, and girl, she was blinding. So beautiful. When I tell you guys that I didn't even have to reapply my highlight at the end of today's video, that's how beautiful this highlighter is. It's gorgeous. So now we can move back into the lower lash line. So first things first, I'm just going to go back in with that darker blue and a little bit of that black eyeshadow on a flat definer brush. And then I did go back in to the shade Turquoise just to start to blend out that darker blue, just to kind of make everything look really nice and put together. And then I did go in with a little bit of the shade Magenta towards my inner corner. And for my waterline, I went in with the LA Girl Neon Shockwave liners. You guys know these are one of my favorite colored liners. I'll leave the shade name down below as always. So I just pop that in my waterline. Super simple lower lash line because I have a lot going on my eyelid. So that is that. And then the last step, of course, was just add some lower lash mascara. Super simple and very easy. I did also just do my lip combo off camera. That'll be down below as well. So to set everything in place, I just went in with my Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Mist. Super beautiful setting spray. You also can use it in your skincare routine. It gives your skin a really beautiful, healthy glow without looking oily. It's stunning. Okay, say. Like, it's gorgeous, it's stunning, it's beautiful, it's everything, all of the above. So now I just went in and just dried it with my little mini fan from Batty B Lashes, and that basically completes my first Pride look of 2021. I'm obsessed. Are you? Like, honey, work, work, work. Yes. Okay, anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.